Go for it. Oh, have you started?
Yep.
Yes. So, quick introduction to our unkempt garden. Why is it so untidy? You might ask yourself. And yeah, basically it's a wild garden. We've just grown loads of. We brought in loads of stuff from the woods and surrounding areas, stuff that grows well here. You can say things as well. By
Yes, and I've been trying to. My aim is to get all of the species in that we see around here. We're not doing badly. Some of them have taken better than others, so it's a work in progress.
We ought to do a count of how many species we've got in the garden.
Yeah, I mean, I have got an idea of them, so I could easily just count them. Yeah.
So yes, one of the things that we're sort of encouraging is lots of big ants nests. So a lot of the lumps and bumps you see in the garden are actually huge ants nests. And every year, spring and autumn, we've seen wrynecks come through, and yeah, they seem to sort of be feeding up on our ants before they migrate or after they've migrated, depending on which way they're going.
A little snack break here, so if we can keep those available and clear, we get the treat of seeing a wryneck and a green woodpecker.
Green woodpeckers as well, and also when they erupt, when these nests erupt, we get a lot of spotted flycatchers, and you can see the birds sort of snapping out the flying ants out of the air.
So they're definitely a valuable thing to have.
And the other thing you'll see plenty of, we cut quite late because of the red clover, because we're trying to encourage the Mazarine blue butterfly.
Which lays its eggs on the red clover, and if you cut that too early, obviously the caterpillars don't have anything to eat. So we are cutting sections anyway, so it's not as if we cut the whole lot down, but we would aim to leave some red clover and not have too much cut away.
So if we enter the garden,
Let's go in now.
a lovely waft of cow dung.
The cows arrived last week, and this is their favourite drinking hole, which is where there's probably quite a lot of cow dung. And there they are in the hot summer sun.
Chewing the cud. Yes, this one, which hopefully will host some narrow-borded bee-hawk moth caterpillar at some stage. We have found one, not in our garden, but the first year we were here, Christine found one. We haven't seen one since.
Haven't been able to replicate that. This plant flowered spectacularly, it was wonderful, and brought in goldfinches as well. So that's the field scabious. This one, which is flowering a bit later, which is the wood scabious, so that's a cousin, but seems to be doing okay here, even though it's in the bright sunshine.
And on the field scabious, we got some nice species of insect. We had the scabious mining bee with his red hosen, red trousers.
He's quite distinctive because he collects the pollen from the scabious, which is reddish colour, and he's all got red trousers on, but that's partly also for his larvae, which feed on scabious pollen exclusively, I think.
Yep, I think they have a little nest that they dig in the sand, and yeah, they deposit the pollen they've collected for the larvae to eat.
And it was fantastic to see that, quite a special bee to see in the garden, or to notice. Okay, so let's go over
To
and have a look at our
perch.
highly engineered, constructed bird perch.
Yep. So we were hoping to encourage red starts, black red starts, whinchats and redback shrike into the garden. We've been successful with the black red starts, and we see a lot of those on this perch. And we try and keep the grass around the bottom of it clear, so that we can see, so the birds like that, then they can see the insects hopping about, so they can feed.
Something we've got quite a lot of here is knapweed. That's been a real success, an introduction to the garden. Doesn't need a lot of help because it just spreads itself very easily. twins coming up,
Yeah.
and that's got a really long flowering season. So we can see further up is one that was cut back and is flowering again. So that's been a great boon.
It's good for the goldfinches, they love that one. They come to eat that, and as well as the scabious, they like both of those.
And you've managed to find some interesting insects on there as well.
Oh yeah, this year I haven't really had to do much searching around. I just come out and look at the knapweeds and usually find something interesting on there. Lots of beetles and weevils and all sorts of things.
Okay, here we can see quite a lot of bedstraw. This has gone over now, it's seeded, but this is a plant that we're really happy to have in the garden. I like it because it's an edible plant, it's nice to eat and it smells wonderful, but for you it's special as well.
Yeah, lots of caterpillars on that one. We've had lots of success all the years we've been here. We get lots of hummingbird hawk moth caterpillars. Well, every year we've had those, haven't we? So we generally bring some into the house because it smells so nice when it's flowering, and generally discover a few caterpillars crawling around in it. Very easy to find caterpillars that way.
Seems guaranteed to get caterpillars when you bring it in. Okay, and then
So we're trying to control the grass, and we've put yellow apple in various places with varying degrees of success. But the other plant we've tried to bring in for some years is eyebright.
and I'm really pleased to say this year we've had success. This one is has taken.
It's measured its semi-parasitic. That's why we want to encourage it, because it does control the grass as well as the same way as yellow rattle does.
And hopefully if this spreads that will help to keep things down. What we've done at the moment is cut the grass around it so that it doesn't feel crowded and gets a chance to spread and get established. Okay.
Thistles everywhere, and this is something that grew up spontaneously. But we don't encourage thistles in this front garden, do we really? But
Didn't know.
we've got a thistle garden which we'll show you in a minute, but this one grew up anyway, and we've just left it.
It just looks quite good there. You know, if it decided it wanted to be there, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's a nice looking one.
I'm sure the goldfinches go for that. It's probably a bit low for them.
I thought we did. Anyway, yes, it's probably. But this has been another success. It's one single plant, but it's going to produce more. I can see there's more growth coming.
And we didn't plant that, did we? That just came up spontaneously.
That's right. So that's a really nice one to see, and it has a wonderful blue flower when it comes out. Big flower, obviously related to the knapweed. It's also Centaurea, but Centaurea montana, so it's more of a mountain plant. So we've come to the back of the house, and
I call this the front.
the
anyway.
front it's the front door, so you're quite right. And what you're seeing here is sunflowers. This is the first year they've actually managed to grow, because these have come from the seeds that fall down from our bird table. Normally they get eaten by the slugs. For some reason they've grown this year. We moved the bird table a little bit, and these all started to grow. And we've got a variety of, I suppose, arable weeds in there. There's rape, and there's some amaranth, and we've got black nightshade, which is nice.
Mhm.
And there's also
Thornapple.
goosefoot and thornapple, which is my favourite, which is coming up. Hopefully that will produce some seed.
And some barley in there as well.
And some barley,
Mhm.
proper arable.
Yeah. And yeah, this bed in front of it, we've just sort of left to grow out of hand. I see we've got some ice plant coming there, but we've also got bindweed in there, which I sort of quite like, really. So it's a good plant for various micro moths, like the white. I should have written this down so I'd know what I was talking about. The
plume.
White plume moth, thank you.
How about that?
You know what I was talking about. And yeah, we get a lot of raspberry coming up spontaneously, which I need to do something to
It
sort
really is
out.
difficult to control.
Yeah. Interestingly, bindweed, this one produces white flowers, looks identical to the thorn apple.
When it's flowering, yeah.
Well, actually, when you look at it closely, the thorn apple flower is actually more pretty. So this is our thistle garden, which has
We've one teasel here.
one teasel, yeah, and lots of cabbage thistle. Last year it was actually better than this. Actually, there's some more cabbage thistle growing up out the
Yeah.
back there. Yeah, we had a lot of different sort of thistles last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
But this year it's sort of a bit subdued.
It may improve. The main reason for the thistle garden is because we wanted to encourage goldfinches in. We didn't have a lot of goldfinches in the garden, and it's been a great success. They've found our thistles and decided to visit us quite frequently. And then next to that, or opposite, is our proto poisonous garden. We'll gradually add some more to this as we go. At the moment we've got monkshood, Aconitum napellus, growing in there, but if we get seeds from the thorn apple, that'll go in.
And the black nightshade.
And you want to have
Deadly nightshade, which we've seen a plant of in
orbital,
Orbital.
and that's a majestic plant.
Yes,
It would take up a
lumens.
lot of space, so we'll have to see how that works.
It is quite a nice plant.
But it would be nice to have, and would be part of the theme.
Did you get me in the shot?
I
then?
tried to avoid it, but you walked in front of me.
We have a footballer. No, he's moved. He's gone. He's moved.
Yeah, I was just trying to get the sound. This is buzzing.
The microphone's facing the wrong way.
I think
but-
it might work.
Yeah.
So this is oregano. Again, plant I introduced from a friend's plant and has really taken off, and he doesn't want to stay. And no, he doesn't want to stay.
Okay.
And is obviously, as you can see here, is a fantastic nectar plant, so that's been a real success in the garden, and it's spreading everywhere. But
Trying to work out what that bird is. Probably a goldfinch, actually.
he's waiting to come into the thistles. We're cramping his style. Is he going to stay there
Oh,
this
no,
time?
it's great.
No, he doesn't stay as soon as I get close. Right.
Okay, so we're going to ascend onto our upper plinth.
But here you can get an idea. This is a thistle we didn't plant, and it just goes on and on and on. That's huge. It's what do you reckon about?
It was 7 foot tall.
Yes,
Interestingly, last year we had a mullein. growing
Mullein,
there.
which is the same height,
Again, another plant of heft.
and that's just decided to take up residence there. We
There's no
didn't.
sign of that. And there was no
disappeared.
sign of thistle the year before. So
Yeah.
very bizarre.
Okay, this is a nice sort of open area that we like to sit in because it's quite shady here and sheltered, but it's also a good place to look for butterflies. They seem to like this area of path. It's sheltered, I suppose, and maybe a little bit warmer. So we see some nice species flying up and down here.
Yeah. It's strange that there's not really a huge number of nectar plants out there, but they seem to like it, and they seem to prefer it over our garden, which has got lots of nectar plants, so make
So
of
we-
that what you will.
A lot of blues. We've also had foresters here, I think.
Foresters we get every year. Again, yeah, it's changed since we got here, but when we first arrived, I don't know if the management of the cows and sheep was different, but certainly the species mix seems to have changed butterfly-wise, so I don't think it's as good as it was, but I'm not quite sure why.
Seems to be different. The time that the cows appear every year is different. So they're here now and it's really late. So most flowers have already gone over, but sometimes they're much earlier, the cows.
Yeah, but this hasn't been good either. I mean, if you look at the grasses here, they're mostly rank grasses, aren't they? They're not good. But yeah, even so, we've had a few great banded grayling butterflies, which are rare. They're a grassland species, so that's nice. What have we got coming down here now? No, it's not big enough.
Something fluttering in.
I think it's just a meadow brown.
Some of our very, very old apple and plum trees.
And there's a Mirabelle tree there,
Mirabelle, there.
which actually has some fruit at the top.
We've had some wonderful fruit.
You won't
off
be able
that.
to see that on the camera.
But what we have got here, there we go.
Is something we've probably left too long. It needs cutting back, I think. Is our filbert or hazel, and that usually fruits quite well. But normally we get too many birds and squirrels, so all the fruit is gone all the nuts are gone by the winter. By the time the leaves drop.
Yeah, we've seen spotted nutcrackers and woodpeckers. So it's a nice, we don't mind if they take the nuts.
Now they're only small anyway, aren't they? They're not really something you could do much with.
No. Okay.
Yes.
And here's a plant that I find quite nice because it's a specialist for this area. So this is wood sage. The leaves do look a little bit like sage.
Can you eat it? Does it taste like
It's
sage?
poisonous now.
It's poisonous.
Poisonous. It tastes really bitter, so you wouldn't want to. Has sort of pale yellow flowers when it's flowering. This has gone over now, but this is a specialist for this area. It prefers sandy, more acidic soils, so you'll find it here.
And it's the sole food plant of the speckled yellow day-flying moth, which we see quite a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear the green woodpecker just there?
I just
that might
heard
come,
it, yeah.
come out on
Oh, it'd be nice if it does. And then we've got buddleia that we planted, obviously a cultivated blood buddleia, but that's been quite a success for bringing in butterflies. Get a lot of fritillaries. And you said we had one swallowtail.
One swallowtail, 1 year.
One swallowtail's better than none.
Indeed.
Okay.
And our final destination is the overgrown beds, our flower beds that are no longer flower beds.
Maybe one day they will
Jungle.
become flower beds again. Joey,
Yeah,
very silly.
I think we disturbed him.
We disturbed him. So this is our overgrown bed, and it's got quite a lot of soapwort in it, and oregano obviously, and lots of mint. So you want to sniff the mint?
Oh yes, okay. There we go.
Smell that mint. It's nice.
Yeah, that's one. And I think there's another type,
There's
isn't there?
A lemon balm.
That's the sort of goatee mint, that one.
Yeah, this one's nice. Lemony. Nice smell.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Doesn't mix well with the other one, by the way.
The other one's a bit too harsh.
There's another raspberry growing through there.
You surprise me.
Woundwort in
Oh
passing.
yes. So this is Stachys sylvatica, woodland plant, but it's woundwort. Nice deep red flowers. This has gone over now, but that was another one that we managed to get to grow here. I don't know how, but that's somehow.
No, we didn't plant that, did we? That just came somehow.
I tried to get some seeds, but I didn't expect it to take, especially in this crowded bed.
Yeah. Oh, and you ought to mention Greater Barnett as
Yeah,
well,
and the Greater Barnett.
which is doing really well, isn't it, this year? That's the
Mm.
second flowering, isn't it?
Yeah, the heads of the red heads look like little microphones. Wonderful. Sanguisulba officinalis. Good to see. Okay, and then we've got a late summer flowering plant, Hennepageron lily, which will take over from the oregano for the bees. So it's a tiny little bee in there. It's looking very nice.
When we look at that in the wood, there are always lots of silverwash fritillaries.
Yeah.
Never seen a silverwash fritillary on that here. They always go to the buddleia.
There's probably not enough of it here.
No. But, we do see silverwash fritillaries. They're just not interested in our Hennepageron for some reason.
And then we've got a more stately plant, which is goat's beard or Vulgus dioicus.
Stately.
Oh, it's big, isn't it?
Wait, oh, I see. Stately in the sense that it's big.
It's, there is another goat's beard, which is a salsify. It's a different plant, but this is a Aruncus dioicus, a woodland plant, which I bought from a garden centre and I planted here, but it's taken quite a while. So
It's a really nice white flower in June, isn't it? And we get lots of rose chafers and lots of beetles enjoying that. Surprising, it doesn't look like much of a flower, does it? Certainly not as a nectar flower, but yeah, they seem to like it, whether they're just eating the pollen or something.
yeah, it's quite popular. A lovely fluffy white creamy flower.
Good. And that is the end of the tour for now.